So, hooray! I am finally doing another time-lapse video after, I don't know, probably a year. This video is, all the recording on it is pretty much 20 hours long. But the whole work thing pretty much took me a week. Like, I recorded 20 hours of video, and while I was doing this retopology project, I was pretty much doing it in my free time. I wasn't really taking it seriously as much. If I was doing it full time, then I most likely would probably have it done within half a week. But that would also depend on how intricate the model is and how fanatical I am with the whole topology. While I was doing the retopology on this, there were some parts where I just couldn't be bothered maintaining quads, because that would have had to cost sending an edge loop around the entire mesh, or having a kite shape where I didn't want it to. So I just ended up using a try just to pretty much end the piece and save time. Even though I was using the tries, I was just making sure it still looked fine in subdivision, which most of it did, really. I would have to give this, I mean, if I was to personally score this myself, I would say 95%, 98%. But that's me just scoring myself. I don't know what you guys would be after. The reason I did this retopology of the Chiron was because I wanted to see how fast I could do this retopology job. Having done most of the mesh, I mean, like, there are still other pieces I could do, but I pretty much proved to myself that I can do it faster than I used to. Last year I did a retopology of the Dodge Viper, and what really disheartened me about that retopology last year was that the fact that it took 3 months to do. And I personally don't believe that any studio would be willing to wait that long just for a simple retopology job. The reason why it took so long last year was because I was just way too fanatical. I was obsessed with the idea of maintaining quads throughout the entire mesh. This time round, my mindset for retopology was just optimizing as much as I could. And I didn't care if it meant cutting corners, if it felt like cutting corners. What was more important is that it saved time. Something that really annoyed me about this whole retopology thing is that some of the parts, they looked simple, but when I started working on those parts, for some reason it ended up taking me an hour to do those parts. And I don't know why that is. Maybe I just deceived myself as to, well, I underestimated how intricate it was, or I just simply had a bad methodology of doing that. For example, the door handle took me around 40 minutes to retop. I mean, just the one door handle. And then when I went on to the mirrors, it took me a whole hour. And really, I think I'm going to have to reassess as to why. Maybe it was because I had too many edge loops in those areas. Or maybe my workflow just involved too much vertex tweaking. So I'm definitely going to have to observe and adapt to whenever I do a retopology job. I mean, which is why I want to pretty much just retopper one piece for an hour or less a day, because I believe this is an important skill, and it's something that I want to practice and get faster at. Overall, having done this retopology for the past week, I have to say overall it was very relaxing to do, very peaceful to do at the same time. I wasn't too frustrated, and I didn't feel like I was overworking or working too hard. I just kept on spending time in. And like, I think the thing that kept me going was the fact that I was pretty much hypnotized to getting neat topology throughout the entire mesh. Like, moving all those vertices into the right place and lines, and getting the lines right. It's quite hypnotizing for me, and I get a lot of satisfaction in achieving correct topology. So my next plan now is to try rendering this, and to be honest, my rendering and texturing skills are very poor. I can unwrap a model fine. I mean, I've already unwrapped it. It took me 40 minutes to do, but it's something that I'm not very proud of, because a lot of my renders, when I do test renders, I think they're going to turn out great, but really they just look cartoony. And I'm really going to have to research why. The render engine I'm using is Octane, and I'm still waiting for when it comes out for May 2018, but right now I'm going to have to use Octane for May 2017. Which is a little annoyance, but I'll find a way and work around it. I mean, May 2017 still does most of what I want. Anyway, so I think before I go into the texturing and rendering phase, I have to rig it, and then I'll reference it into a Maya scene. Well, I'll rig it and set up the base shaders for it first, and then I'll reference it into a small little environment I have in mind. I was thinking of doing a kind of a Tron scene for its environment. Still looking around at some concepts out there, and I think I found a image I like, but I'm not really sure about that one. I've actually found a couple really, but I'll see what I can come up with as I go about it. Anyway, to those watching this time-lapse video, I hope you learned some nice topology tricks. And I actually have to go and do my Korean study now, so I will see you I'll see you whenever I see you on the next vlog. Anyway, love you all.